Hello, welcome to this impromptu video. I say impromptu, I have been planning to do it, but I just decided that now would be the time I would do it. I've been meaning to sort out my collection for a couple of months now. I've cleared some space downstairs. I kind of keep the collection in one place up here, in one place downstairs near my desk. So I just needed to kind of just get amped up for it because I have a lot of plans for this and it's going to take quite a while. So I thought I'd take you through the process of me doing this, show you what the collection is like now, how it looks afterwards, and kind of some of my thought process, which I still haven't figured out yet, by the way, on how to reorganize the Blu-rays I have here in Norway. Obviously I still have quite a bit of my collection back home in the UK, but for now let's have a look at the stuff I've got here and how I'm going to change it up. So first of all, up here we got a shelf above the TV, and this is all stuff that I've been kind of watching on and off and kind of getting through recently. I really don't like having stuff like this on the shelf, but it's just kind of accumulated over the past couple of weeks. These steelbooks are there to stop the cat from jumping up, because she'll jump from her cat tree up onto here, so I need to display stuff there. And we have my Eureka Masters of Cinema collection up here. We recently did a big tidy, that's why some of it is out of place. We got a Wii U game there. So that's the second half of my Masters of Cinema collection. And then over on this shelf we have the first part of the Masters of Cinema collection, starting with spine number 1, Sunrise, held in place by the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece collection. And then that goes all the way from spine number 1 all the way up to like spine number 63, I think, which then concludes over here, and we go all the way up to about 100 around here somewhere, and then onwards. And some of my Masters of Cinema Blu-rays are back home in the UK now, so this isn't the complete Masters of Cinema collection, but it's most of them. And currently I have 144 in total, and yeah, that's that. Then over here we have, this is the Pacific Rim thing, just lots of different stuff here, and obviously my shadow is blocking most of it, so... Alright, so just all sorts of random stuff there. There's another big pile behind that, which also helps keep those in place. Down here we have stuff I've been watching for my Silent Movie Marathon 4, and there's a couple of Blu-rays up there. I mean, it's very messy. And then also, down here we have some just random Steelbooks, you know, some of the Marvel stuff. Just very, very random. And then behind there we have more Blu-rays as well that I've just kind of shoved out of sight. So that's the stuff I have upstairs. And here downstairs we have the shelf unit thing, and I have a full space up here to put quite a lot of Blu-rays. I'm looking forward to tidying everything up a bit by getting this shelf filled. And actually what I've noticed only in the past 10 minutes is that what I could do is double up and there'll still be space. So if there's anything I'm really not that bothered about having on display, I could really, again, tidy up things. So here we have my Studio Ghibli collection, an anime collection, even with Metropolis there. My John Carpenter collection, Richard Linklater, some other stuff behind there, some box sets and stuff. Here we have the Eric Romer collection, which I've just started to watch, and I'm going to do a series on that as well. So I'm looking forward to reviewing all of these films in due course. That's my Buster Keaton booklet from the DVD set. And then down here I have my silent film collection, including my Buster Keaton collection, silent films, and then the Criterions. Now here's the big thing, here's the big kind of question that I have with myself, which has kind of been running through my mind for quite a while now. And that is reordering my collection in a different way than I've had it previously. And the big thing about that is the Masters of Cinema collection, but also the Criterions. Now, what I've done with the Criterions here on the shelf is I put them in chronological order as opposed to spine number order. With the Criterion Collection, there's just no way I'm ever going to be able to collect the whole set. Neither do I even want the full set. You know, with that many films, it would be impossible. Well, not impossible, it'd be possible, but it would be highly improbable and would cost far too much money and far too many years. I'm not interested in collecting all of them whatsoever. But the Massive Cinema one was a bit more doable, and I managed to complete the first 100 spines. So I have so many spines that it's nice to have the Massive Cinema collection in one kind of, you know, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the thing with that is, it's in completely random order. It will go from the silent era to the 2000s, it'll go from Japanese films to French films, and while I kind of know, because I've been trying to collect that first 100 spines for so many years, I know kind of the order of everything, I kind of feel like it would be fun to switch it up and order things chronologically. And I was kind of talking about that on the Blu-ray.com forums, and people were like, oh no, you've got to go spine order all the way. And yeah, but I've had that for a couple of years now, and surely the fun of things when you have a collection is to change things up a bit. The only thing I'm worried about, and again, I totally understand that that's a first world worry, is how to do it exactly. Because do I do it completely chronologically, or do I go, okay, chronologically, but then all the Fritz Lang films in one section, even though that will then break up the chronology of things? Do I have a Japanese section because there's so many Japanese films and I love you know, Japanese films, or do I, you know, do I then do French films? It's really difficult to decide, so I'm going to try and wing it basically. But I think what I will do is find all the Blu-rays that I don't watch regularly or that I've watched recently and won't watch again for a while, put them there, and then kind of have other Blu-rays in front of them like that. So then they'll be closer to the edge, I'll be able to see them more clearly, I guess, I don't know, but it would just be cooler, I think, to just have it look a bit more neat. Then again, I might hate the look of it, I might see that you can spot all the Blu-rays behind it and it might look too cluttered, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Right now I'm kind of envisioning having the silent films along here, and also if I break up the Masters of Cinema collection I can have the Masters of Cinema Keaton short set with all my other Keaton films. So that's a possibility. But then with the Criterions, you know, they look so nice lined up together, you know? So do I really want to break them up? But at the same time, we've got a Chaplin film there. I'd like that to be in the silent collection, or the Chaplin section even. The Kurosawa movies, I'd like to have all of them together in a collection, another Chaplin film. So I don't know, I really don't know. And again, Wes Anderson films, I'd like to have all those together at one point. The Richard Linklater movies, so yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest, but we shall see. I'll try and figure it out, and you'll see my progress as it happens, I suppose. I don't know how much I'll film of me doing it, but we shall see. Okay, so guess who just filmed all of that footage you just saw and then waited about a month and a half to get back to it? This guy. Yeah, I completely forgot that I had done that kind of... Well, I didn't forget, but I forgot to, you know, do the ending part where I show you how I organized the collection. And long story short, I kind of went through a few different configurations. Felt like I wasted a couple of hours of my life with configurations I didn't like, and ultimately I've left with something that's kind of cool. I like it. Still needs improvement, and you know, it's not perfect. I could be a lot happier with it, but I haven't got the time to fret over it anymore. So let's show you kind of what I've done with the with everything. So let's go start over here. So here we have the amended Masters of Cinema section. So I've done away with the ordering them by spine number, which honestly for the past month and a half it really hasn't bothered me at all, so I'm glad I made the decision. And what I've done is I've actually organized them by country. So at the beginning here we have some French films, and I realized very quickly when I organized all of them from, you know, country and then chronologically, I realized that the Masters of Cinema collection is primarily American films, obviously, but mainly French and Italian and Japanese. Those are the kind of the four big countries, and then there's kind of a few other ones from different countries as well. So starting from Wooden Crosses, I believe that's from the 30s, we move chronologically through some of the French films. We have a couple of films there by Chabrol, I don't know how that's how you pronounce his name. And then we get to Italian films here, and a section for Michelangelo Antonioni films. We have a little Fellini section there with 4 films, and then the Pasolini section. There's 5 releases there. And then we go to kind of world cinema. There's a British film, Australian, various countries, German. Most of the German films in the collection are in the silent section. And then we move from Island of Lost Souls from the 30s all the way up to the 2010s. This is the American section, going from films like Make Way for Tomorrow, The Lost Weekend, Double Indemnity, Ace in the Hole, Shane, you know, Seconds, Two Lane Blacktop, Silent Running, Harold and Maude, Nashville, and so on. So that's kind of the French, Italian, miscellaneous, and American section. And sadly here we have just a just another random section, and I was able to clear everything from here, but ultimately I wasn't happy with kind of putting a lot of them, you know, away. It's hard to describe and there's no point going into it. I also have my Stormtrooper bookend there holding the Blu-rays in place. But here we just got random stuff, just Hannibal Lecter set, you know, just anything and everything really that just doesn't fit anywhere else, or that I really feel like needs to be on the shelf. Loads of stuff behind there, some Arrow stuff, the recent Phenomena set, which is incredible. So yeah, that's just gonna have to be the way it is for now, and they'll be better displayed in the future. Sorry for the terrible lighting, I just can't figure it out. And then here we have the Casablanca and Ben-Hur sets, because they're quite big, and if you display them kind of facing outwards, the front box here starts folding open, so I just put them here. They're very nice, and I'll display them properly at a later date, I suppose. Up here I have the Eric Romer box set. Looks really nice there. I need to clear out all the stuff behind there too, but that looks nice, at least on the edge of there when I look over at it. And then up here finally we have the rest of the Massive Cinema Collection, another Stormtrooper there. And we start with some more kind of miscellaneous, I guess, world cinema, China there, Hong Kong films. And then we have the Japanese collection, or section of the collection, from, you know, Gate of Hell, Burmese Harp, and then there's also director sections such as Shindo. We've got Shohei Imamura as well. He's got quite a few in the collection. The Mizoguchi section, and then Harakiri. And then I also put, and this is where I started to get a little bit kind of regretful of what I'd done originally. I originally kind of had loads of director sections. Like, even if I was mixing up Criterion's, Massive Cinema, other releases, I put all the directors' films in one section. But then it just became, well, where do they go? You know, and I'm doing this chronological thing, but I'm kind of grouping it with directors. So I put Tokyo Story from Ozu before Floating Weeds, because it came out before Floating Weeds, so I don't know. And then we have some Kurosawa, Seven Samurai, and Ran. And I also have my Kurosawa Criterions here, but it just didn't feel right. I like having all my Criterions in the same place, so I ended up taking those out. We have some martial art films from Massive Cinema, Dragon Inn, Touch of Zen, Five Element Ninjas, House of Traps. We have a tiny little Orson Welles section with The Lady of Shanghai and Touch of Evil. We have some John Ford, My Darling Clementine, The Quiet Man. And then we have a Francis Ford Coppola section with just the Godfather trilogy and Rumblefish, Stanley Kubrick, Fear and Desire and The Shining, random just Star Wars The Force Awakens editions, and then it just tails off with just box sets that kind of hold everything else in place. So it's a bit ragtag, but it is what it is, and let's go downstairs. Actually, no, before we do that, we have these, which are in absolutely no order whatsoever, just miscellaneous steelbooks and editions. It really is all over the place, so you can just look and see what they are, but I mean, this really is just bunging stuff on the shelf, so yeah. And finally downstairs we have the part of the collection display that I'm the most happy with, I guess, so let's take a look. So we have 3 rows here, and what I did originally, which wasted the most time, was I had all of these kind of brought to around here. And then behind them I had other Blu-rays, because it just brought them closer to the front of the shelf, and I felt like it looked better. So I did that for this one and this one, but then these were still down there, and it just felt uneven, and I got really pissed off with it, and I just ended up taking everything out and just pushing them all to the back, for whatever reason. And I also went through different ways of ordering them, and I feel like I'm wasting time telling you about it right now, so let's just look at what I do have and what order I have assembled it in. This is the silent film collection. So we start at the very beginning there with the Lumiere brothers movies of the 1890s, A Trip to the Moon, Silent Shakespeare, The Vampires. That's all stuff from 1890 to 1910s. And then we move to the beginning of the Massive Cinema collection. So what I did was, because originally I went completely chronological and had Massive Cinema, BFI, all sorts of different things. It just looked like a mess. So I put all the Massive Cinema silents together like so, in a vague chronological order. So we get to 1915 all the way up to 1929 there. So this is kind of just like a vague chronological section. And then here, starting with Nosferatu, we have the F.W. Murnau section. So Nosferatu, the 5 early films, Faust, Sunrise, City Girl, Taboo. Really happy to own all these movies on Blu-ray. Then we have the Fritz Lang section, from the Testament of, not Testament, just Dr. Mabuse the Gambler, all the way up to Frau Immonde. And then I decided to put more Fritz Lang films just to round off the director section, I think, which I don't mind too much. So I have 3 of his sound films, and then we just have more, again, generic kind of silent titles, and then the BFI section, which again goes chronologically. And then we have at the end the Hitchcock section, the larger, Downhill, and then Lifeboat, and the Masterpiece Collection. So again, I'm kind of going with director sections, and it just is what it is. So let me kind of straighten this out a bit. Now this is another pride of my collection, the Buster Keaton section, which has grown quite a lot over the years. Here we have the great documentary A Hard Act to Follow, the awesome short films collection from Master Cinema, then the whole Kino library. So this is all of his silent films, like all of them, all the shorts, all the features, with the exception of these 2, which were his last 2 silent films, but they're not Blu-ray, they're DVD bootlegs, unfortunately, but they still look alright, you know, and it's the best quality you can probably get them in anyway. Then we have a tiny little Chaplin section there with Woman of Paris and the Mutual comedies, and then 2 modern silents with The Artist and Snow White. And then we have the Criterion Collection, which is looking very nice, and there's a lot back in Wales as well. And with this, again, I went chronological, even though it breaks up, you know, Chaplin's The Gold Rush and Limelight, you know. I don't know, I'm still not sure what I want to do, but I like the way that they all look together. So yeah, and also here we have a little Wes Anderson section. I kind of sneakily put in the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then we have a Richard Linklater section, Waking Life, Boyhood, Everybody Wants Some. This is a great edition if you haven't seen it. I don't think I did an unboxing of this, I really should have, but that's a fantastic edition for, in my opinion, a fantastic film. And then just random stuff, got some indicator releases, my little Paul Newman section, Hustler, Color of Money, Cool Hand Luke and the Sting, all fantastic films. Down here we have the Hayao Miyazaki filmography, all of his feature films, from The Wind Rises back to his first, The Castle of Cagliostro, and then the rest of the Studio Ghibli titles I have in chronological order. And some more anime films. Another part of my collection I'm really happy with, the John Carpenter section, which is filling out nicely. I got from Halloween up to Ghost of Mars so far, and multiple editions of The Thing, as you can see. Joe Dante, Gremlins, Gremlins 2, and The Burbs. Even though Gremlins 2 came after The Burbs, I just like having them together. And then just generic films that I really, really like Blade Runner, The Fly, Spaceballs, The Hard Way, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Last Action Hero, just some of my absolute favourites to have on the shelf looking nice, and then some Marvel Cinematic Universe steelbooks there. Can't tell you what hardly any of these films are, because all they are fucking faces on the spine. So, there we go. I kind of hoped this would turn out better than I think it did, but it is what it is, and I think it's the it's the ritual of every Blu-ray collector to reshuffle their collection every now and again. I'm looking forward to the day when we have the whole collection together in one place, and I can really spend some time kind of making it look a lot better and organising it more as well. And I guess that's part of the obsessive nature of collecting anyway, is kind of how you display it. I'd like to go crazy with the displaying stuff, but I do like having it in a nice order, and I'm kind of happy with the way it is now, especially the silent collection. So there we go. Leave me your thoughts on this scattershot piece of rambly mess. The video feels as bad as my language right now, so I don't know, you tell me. And how do you like to organise your Blu-rays? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.